Your wife have the last say so in the household?
No.
Your face. I say it just depends because sometimes the wife may be stronger in certain areas. Let's just say the husband is not good at managing a certain thing and the wife is stronger in that certain area. Do you believe that the wife should have the input in that area?
I think input is different from final say so. I think to be a wife, at least the type of wife that I aspire to be, which is a high value, feminine, high earning woman that is partnered with a high value, high earning masculine man. Ultimately, my input and feeling heard and acknowledged and seen, that's important to me. That's very important to me. However, ultimately the decision is his because I'm submitted to the mission of the God that's inside of him. And so ultimately, if I'm better at finances, or I'm better at really anything, I'm definitely going to place my input. And a true leader knows when it's time to follow, which is why it's important inside of your partner choice. If you're choosing someone that's more in their ego, that needs to be like, well, what I say goes, rah, 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 rah. That's not really the person that you want. You don't want them to have the final say so. But if you have a true leader that knows who they are, they know where they're going, they know the purpose, and they want what's good for the colony, then they're going to take your input and the final say so will really be what you said in the first place. Can you be feminine enough to plant that seed in the man so that he feels like it's his idea anyway, and then celebrate him for when he does it? Because ultimately, the woman is the conductor in the household. You just don't see her because her back is turned.
Break that down for me, please.
If you go watch an orchestra, you have all of this music that's playing. That's the man. The man is providing. He's doing this. Sometimes it's brash. Sometimes it's strong. Sometimes it's quiet. It's all of this different things, harmonies that are happening. He's running the household. But the conductor is there saying, this is when it's time to do this. Hey, not right now. You gotta stop that. Hey, you need to come right here. You're literally orchestrating the household.
But who writes the music?
God.
Ooh.
That's the purpose. That's the alignment. That's the source.
Wow. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Should your wife have the last word in the house? We got a wife on the panel. I'm going to start with you, Miss Tegan. How does this go? See if you can help us out
here. It depends on what perspective you're coming from, right? So if you're religious, which is the way that I grew up, then the husband will always have the final say so, right? But if you're truly invested in the marriage itself, it just depends on the situation, like what the woman asks about. Well, if I'm more, let's say, financially savvy, if I'm like, for instance, I have my sister's a CPA, right? She handles all things finances. There's no argument between what's going to happen in terms of their finances because she's the guru in that specific area. So I just think for me personally is playing on each other's strengths. Like the young lady said in the video, like a true leader knows when to follow. So for my husband, if it's something that I have more knowledge about, he'll defer to me on certain things and ask my opinion, like, what do you think? Blah, 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 blah. And then vice versa. So I don't think there is a need to, I guess, push and pull between who's going to make the decision, because if you're an adult, I would think both people will have enough sense to say, okay, this person has more knowledge in this situation than me, so we're going to run with that idea. And that's kind of how it's worked for us.
All right, what about you, Miss Coco? Should your wife have the last say so? Should a wife, not your wife, but should a wife?
I'm more traditional, so just like what she said, the husband, I feel the husband should have the last word. In my marriage, my ex-husband, he always had the last word, but I was really good at giving my ideas. He trusted me a lot. You know, I was the one with the degrees, you know, he didn't even finish high school or whatever. So he always would ask, you know, something. But if it came to like making decisions like big purchases and things like that, you know, it was his decision. But like she said, you know, we were like best friends. So You know, I would talk to him and he'll talk to me. I learned so much from him and he learned so much from me. We just kind of bounced off each other. So that was never an issue. It's just interesting because after my marriage, when I got into another serious relationship afterwards, I was moving the same way. And that guy took it as I was doing too much. I was trying to tell him what to do. And I don't need you to, don't volunteer information unless I ask. And it was just kind of like, okay. So I was like dumbfounded. I couldn't figure that one out with that guy. It didn't really last that long because like we just couldn't mesh together because he kept looking at it as I was trying to control something. And all I was doing was I just thought that communication is communication. So I don't know if it was the way it came out, but I think it has something to do with the man as well too. But I do believe that the husband should have the last word.
Can I just ask one question for clarification? Anybody can clarify this, but I guess specifically the men, since this question is more so geared for men having the last say so. I guess my question is, what does the last say so mean? So if you give, let's say, your opinion, like I said, if my sister's a CPA and they're discussing something and she has the knowledge set and he goes with that, does that mean she's having the last say so? Or he, like, I guess that's the confusion. If the husband chooses to go with the input that you gave, do that mean she's having the last say so, or is he having the last say so because he decided to go with that idea? Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm a little confused about what last say so means.
I understand. You want to go, Hank?
Well, I mean, if he makes the final decision, he's, I mean, technically he will have to say so. Even if he reasoned and he accepted your idea, he still's got to ponder over. He still's got to make the decision whether, you know, the negative outweigh the positive. He still got to go through the whole, you know, the whole cycle of decision making. Even if it's your idea, he's still making a final decision.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and piggyback on that. What Hank said, I totally agree. That's exactly what I was going to say. He's still choosing to accept whatever it is that you're bringing to the decision. And so, and I think by you providing it, you're not necessarily telling him you need to do this. It's saying, this is what I know, but I'm going to trust that you're going to make that final decision on what's best. So I think that there has to be trust on both sides. And even in the vetting process, you will hope that you would pick someone. Not everybody does it, but you hope you pick someone that has enough sense to be able to bring some form of substance to the marriage or to the relationship. And you will hope that at times that you guys can help each other. So it's a circle of positive things that are happening when it comes to the decision making. But ultimately, you know, if you trust in that man, you're going to trust his decision. And then if she does see something that he may miss, then she'll bring it up to him. And because he trusts her, he's open to hearing it. He may not hear from any other woman or anybody else, but because he vetted that woman, he chose her, he may say, hey, just so you know, I'm going to consider whatever it is that you're thinking as well. And hopefully he has enough logic to put everything together to make whatever decision needs to happen. And something that's important too, even if somebody don't understand, if you're able to support whatever it is that you're stating or the reason as to why, and granted there's enough time to be able to do so, then you can kind of help whoever that person may be understand your decision making.